Well, hello, hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have the crew from First Command already in the house. Thank you so much for watching, for supporting. Tell us where you're watching from. We'd love to be able to send you shout outs and, of course, highlight your state. Recognize what an incredible member you are to our community. And thank you very much for supporting. These Blue Star Careers communities webinars have become a weekly space to build, connect you with job opportunities, employer partners, but also highlight pathways that will make probably better sense for you in your current season career life. These tools, of course, are to be applied for the next career pathway moving forward. Our partners today are here to share with you best practices, the right way to approach them based on the current conditions. But also, we want to remind you we have a partner folder for them in the neighborhood. So make sure that you meet with them in the neighborhood and connect with other like-minded Blue Star Career members. Today's discussion, in case you have not yet read our title, is Let's Get Your Career Squared Away with First Command as we explore rewarding careers and pathways in finance, in customer service, in support. I mean, in general, let's first get to know what the company does, how they support our military community. We're honored today to have Dr. Kendra Lowe, a director of military spouse employment programs, First Command. She leads very strategically efforts to recruit, retain, and of course, making sure that military spouses are advancing in their career pathways to make it very inclusive. Then, of course, with us also joining us is Bailey Wyatt, who is the manager of advisor recruiting, also at First Command. And we're so excited to share with you all the great opportunities that are available. And then, of course, there will be available for growth. So don't take any titles and opportunities out there for you to decline yourself before you explore any further. So let's begin. Thank you so much for watching. Well, hello, hello. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for supporting those of you who are out there in our virtual space on LinkedIn, Facebook. Please post it in the comments where you are watching. We love to be able to send you a shout out, but also support you further, follow up with you. We have a great First Command crew here to support all of your questions, but also share with you a little bit more about various pathways for military spouses, or if you are considering and exploring a little bit better what an advisor looks like, a career as an advisor in the finance sector, what that could look like. That's where Bailey Wyatt comes in handy as well. And then, of course, Dr. Kendra, a military spouse herself, is going to share a little more about her career trajectory. So, team, welcome. Dr. Kendra, please make a formal intro. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your hobbies, what you do, where you at. We'd love to be able to get to know you more. Thank you.
Thank you. Laura, first and foremost, thank you to you and your team for inviting us and giving us this space to be here today and share about First Command. Any chance I get to talk about First Command and what they're doing to support military spouses is just an awesome opportunity. So again, thank you for inviting us here today. My story, so I served 6 years active duty and 25 years now as a military spouse, and it's been a challenging, awesome crazy wild ride for 25 years, but I wouldn't change a single thing. Navigated a lot of different challenges as a military spouse. Overseas, 6 years total in Asia, and I'd have to say that those were probably primarily in terms of a career, the most challenging road bumps and roadblocks that I faced. We were in South Korea prior to arriving here. We're in Biloxi, Mississippi now at Keesler Air Force Base. And in South Korea, it was really difficult to find a position. I was able to do some contract work, was super excited to find out that we were moving back to the United States and happened upon a job position at First Command. And in all transparency, I was, have been, my husband and I, clients of First Command for 5 years. And really impressed by our personal advisor when we sat down to have our family conversation. And I will admit that I backed out of 2 or 3 meetings. And finally, our advisor said, Patrick, you have to bring Kendra. And went to the meeting. And what struck me as just a memorable moment is my husband was talking a lot about what our future finances look like and what that means in terms of our family today and long term. And he looked at my husband and he said, okay, I don't want to hear from you anymore. Literally turned to me and said, Kendra, tell me about you, your path as a military spouse. What do you envision? What does your family look like? And I felt such a sense of being included in that conversation that military spouses often get left out of. So First Command just struck me as a company and an organization that valued what military spouses had to say in their place in terms of financial day-to-day and long-term planning. So side note, was aware of First Command, was on LinkedIn getting ready for that move, saying, what does this mean for me in terms of wanting a job when we get back to the United States? Saw that First Command posted a position for a brand new director of military spouse programs. I may or may not have read in fine print. They were asking this position to relocate to the home office. I reached out anyways and just said, can you please tell me more about the position? The individual gladly did and said that unfortunately he had to relocate to the home office. And I said, unfortunately, I can't. My husband's still active duty. Long story short, he went back to our CEO and advocated for military spouses and said, we really need to cast our net larger in order to capture a military spouse for this position. They converted that position to a remote position, and I was able to come on board. So just a testimony to this organization, what they're willing to do to bring on the right talent and recognizing what challenges that military spouses face.
I love it. I love happy endings, and I also love that you had some great allies and great members from the team that advocated for you and recognized what a great asset you could be to their workplace. And then that your role can be done remotely, and every, of course, be able to contribute. And then, of course, it's not going to be the case for every remote at every job at First Command. However, I love it that yours particularly made a difference. And then, but let me bring Bailey in and to talk a little bit more about her manager role as a manager of advising and advisors and recruiting. How does that work for you, Bailey? How did you first find out and ended here in this great organization? What do you love about it? Tell us all of your great hobbies, all of that good stuff that we want to hear.
Hi, Laura. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me. I am so excited, just like Kendra, to be able to be here and talk about First Command. Yes, my name is Bailey Wyatt, and I'm a manager of our advisor recruiting department. I do work here at the home office in Fort Worth, Texas, but I've been here all my life. So commuting into the office was great for me. I have spent 8 years now at First Command, all in our recruiting department. I've bounced around from a few different positions, but um, you know, helping people find their career that truly fits their goals and strengths is what I do. I joined First Command I'd been in the recruiting space before, and I was reached out by a recruiter here at First Command. I'm very thankful that he found me because I'm very passionate about helping others, and that's exactly what I get to do here, especially in the military, or especially helping military members and spouses, just helping them find their meaningful long-term career. I don't think there's anything more rewarding than connecting talented individuals with an opportunity that can become their forever career. So, with my position, I do help mostly the financial advisor positions. We do have 180 offices all over the country, and what I do is I help support those local district advisors in their recruiting needs and help place military members or military spouses fit into those careers. For where they're looking to go, but it's a great opportunity for military spouses because this is a career that you can take with you. And we also offer a lot of support, time off. We offer bonuses, things like that to help support the military family as they move from one location to the next. Because we know you don't always get all the time in the world. They don't say, here, you have 3 months to prepare for that next move. It's, hey, you're moving next week, maybe. So we want to make sure that we support our teammates and family members as best as we can. So such a great opportunity, and I'm really proud to be a part of it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that also. And also, I'm so glad that you do get to enjoy it as well. Driving to the home office and enjoying, the camaraderie to be with the rest of the team. And then, of course, be able to build that great team spirit that you get from presence that you sometimes when we are remotely, we don't get that as much. But I'm glad that Kendra and I got to reconnect.
Yeah.
And we are actually exploring this because her and I met a while back virtually, and so I'm very excited when I saw her name for this webinar. I was so excited to reconnect again, and then ask her more. So, for instance, preparing for this webinar, when you say get your career squared away, what exactly does that look like for a military spouse, Kendra? Practically, what does that mean in today's competitive market nowadays?
It's a great question, and it's hard sometimes in terms of getting squared away because our journey as a military spouse looks so different, and that can be based on ages and stages of our children if we have them, the health and wealth of our family. Is it something that a military spouse? For me, every time we move, unfortunately, I have to move jobs every 2 years, and I really assess how is the family doing, and is this something that I can take on right now? So a large part of getting that squared away and career ready is if a job isn't available, and it wasn't many times when we were overseas for 6 years, getting creative. What can I do that's virtual, that's possible? And silver lining of COVID, there are a lot of remote and virtual options. So if I knew that was what was going to work for me at that point in time, what could I do to capture some of that opportunity that was available to me? And then knowing when we do have that opportunity to know where we're going is starting to plug into your network. Our military spouse network is amazing. And as Laura mentioned, we met years ago. It's staying in touch with military spouses. It's staying in touch with organizations and companies that are supporting military spouses and families like First Command. And in reaching back, if it's not a right fit for you at that specific time, place, location, journey point as a military spouse, keep that in your hip pocket. Maybe there is an opportunity that comes up in the future that is a better fit for you professionally, personally, or for your family. So plug into your military spouse network to organizations and companies that are supporting military families and spouses, and don't ever throw those contacts away, and don't hesitate to keep that connection strong and healthy.
Absolutely. And I think you and I were talking about this of when we were not just prepping, and our seasons and our family seasons also change throughout the active duty military lifestyle style. And what job could have worked maybe 5, 10 years ago, it may not no longer be the same sort of a fit nowadays. So, keep your options open. And then, of course, or if you're out there just exploring as well, think about it, and then connect with the great people like Bailey and Kendra who definitely are trying to build the best path for those out there who are looking for the best, the best sort of a employer and the best culture. And so with that, I would like to ask, either one of you guys, why is First Command a strong path for someone who wants stability, career growth? What are some of those steps that someone could look at or see beyond the job titles that you guys perhaps will have on your portal? Who wants to
Bailey,
take
I'll
that?
share a quick story and then I'd love to hear your thoughts on it as well. But what struck me as just a notable moment during my hiring process was with First Command is when I was in the interview room virtually, one of the first questions that First Command asked me was, Kendra, where do you see yourself at First Command in 5 years? Maybe not a profound question, but I'll be honest with you. In 25 years of going to interviews and hiring for different interviews and hiring for different positions, not one organization or company had ever asked me, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" Because my choices has always been to be open and upfront that I'm a military spouse, so they knew my time was finite. Uh, First Command was the first interview that ever asked me that, so they are to me, showing good faith that they're invested in me, not just professionally, personally. They're all in on wanting to hang on to military spouses as long as possible. Bailey, do you have some thoughts on that as well?
Yeah, thank you. When it comes to First Command, this is not just about getting a job. This is about building a profession. And for many advisors, that means transitioning from transactional work to, work in relationship-based advising. You're able to create reoccurring income through long-term client relationships, which kind of goes back to what Kendra and Laura were talking about was building that network and building those contacts and relationships. You also have the opportunity to develop leadership skills as you grow your client base and team. So at First Command, you're not just filling a seat, you're developing expertise, you're developing relationships and creating a pathway that you have control over. This is not a clock in, clock out type of position. This is a career that you get to control your schedule. You don't always get to do that in the military. So that's something that we really want to be able to offer our advisors who are predominantly veterans or military spouses, giving you that flexibility to, make sure you're available for soccer practice, make sure that you can take your kids to the doctor, take the dog to the vet when you need to. We offer that flexibility so that way you have the control over your schedule. Because at the end of the day, we want you to be happy. The happier that you are in the career, the better that you're serving our clients, which is, just kind of a win-win for all of us at First Command.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And I love it that you did reinforce the fact that this is not just a clock in, clock out job. This is really, I mean, you're making a difference in someone's life when you're helping them get a better direction of their finances, just to have a better experience and how to retire better, or maybe overall how to plan or get out of any other harmful situations that we might experience throughout the military cycle. So this is definitely rewarding because you get to change lives of individuals throughout various different roles, perhaps. But in your opinion, Kendra, given that you come from a very great, rich content of so many great career pathways yourself, what skills matter the most for success in First Command, or for you particularly, what has mattered the most? Those skills that you've been able to adapt in, and also for someone who may be new to the industry, they happen to be scrolling today and they're like, First Command, never heard of them. What is it? Finance? What skills can I adapt into to make it into a very successful, rewarding career that you yourself have done?
I think so many of our military spouses are built for First Command. And I say that because I could probably read off a laundry list of what our military spouses have acquired in terms of leadership and adaptability. And although I'm not a big fan of the word resilience and pivoting and looking at solution oriented uh, type focus when they are presented with a problem. So many of the things that we do just by navigating this military life, those skills and that talent that a military spouse brings to the table at First Command is exactly what we need. So it doesn't have to be. I challenge you to take off maybe those blinders or that thought of that I have to have this skilled training or a certification. I argue that so many of our military spouses are building those skills all along their entire journey. So come to us, come have a conversation with us. Maybe you yourself might not identify that skill, but we'll see that in you. I do believe military spouses are built for who we serve at First Command and what we do.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And what about for you, Bailey? What are some of those firsthand skills that matter the most when you are identifying advisors? Let's say a military spouse sees this and they're like, oh, this will be perfect for the husband. We love to find something for our husbands to do, right, Kendra? So, how can I encourage my husband to go on and explore further the financial advisor route?
Yeah, I was, as you're asking this question, I was thinking it's funny because as a recruiter, when I'm out looking for people, potential financial advisors, I'm not out there looking for financial advisors. I'm not
Right.
searching for those credentials because guess what? We can train you how to do that. We will educate you. We will give you, we'll pay for all of your licensing. We will put you through the most top of the line training that will teach you all the things that you need to be a successful advisor. But what we can't teach is grit. We can't teach discipline. We can't teach passion. Those are things that you bring to the table, and that's what we look for. And typically, those are things that you build throughout your time in the service or during your time supporting your service member. So, those are the soft skills that we look for the most. Who has what it takes to have that passion to carry out our mission of coaching those who serve in their pursuit of financial security? All the other things we can teach and train you how to do. So, again, really boils down to that passion, Laura.
Absolutely. Now, I know that, the role that could potentially be the right path for me, given that sometimes right now we are in a timeline or we want to fast forward to a job and then get that paycheck. What could the first 90 days after talking to you, maybe get coming on board, getting offered, what would those look like if someone who decides to move forward with First Command?
So this is actually have a two-phase answer to this because it is a little bit more unique opportunity. But in your technically your first 90 days, your primary focus is going to be licensing. So you're working towards becoming a fully credentialed advisor, which is studying for and passing those FINRA required exams, but also learning the fundamentals of the financial services industry and then building those technical foundation that you need to serve your clients confidently. So that phase is structured. It is focused. We'll give you study resources, guidance, very clear expectations. It's very much about discipline, though, preparation, and then earning those credentials. Then, once you're officially completed, or once you've officially completed all of your licensing, and then you step into the financial advisor role, there's another first 90 days, and that's where you're going to really develop your skills as an advisor. During that time, you're going to be learning the day to day rhythm of the business. You're going to be observing and shadowing experienced advisors. You'll get to sit in on client meetings, practice how to lead those meaningful financial conversations, and then you'll also begin to build your own client pipeline. So you are not thrown in blindly. You're coached. You're developing both confidence and competence during that time. But realistically, the first, I would say, 6 months, even up to a year, are about the foundation and momentum. So you're going to earn your licenses, and then you're going to learn how to apply it effectively in real client relationships.
Interested. Thank you so much for breaking that down for us. Interesting. You said, that you're get coach, you get supported. I was talking to someone today, in fact, about once you make that commitment of investing in training and an extra 2 weeks and an extra, I don't know, a whole month into a pathway of certification. That means that in your mind, that's a long-term career investment, maybe 2, 3 years, right? So really look in detail how you can, translate this into a very meaningful opportunity for your current season of your life. And then certainly First Command has the staff and the initiatives to help you lead towards those realistic goals in the near future. And then you have great people like Kendra who, Kendra, in your experience, how do you help military spouses translate their personal experience, their career journey as well, so that they can be First Command ready in today's career storytelling?
I think it's sitting down and really having meaningful conversations, getting to know that individual. So a lot of it is that personal connection and talking through a conversation. You can learn so much if you sit and listen. And so many of our military spouses have a tendency to not highlight things that are so important at part of their journey, and helping them really be able to put those experiences into words and into value if they're going forward and applying for positions is important. I love a military spouse that I met, and she was a very strong individual. And she said, well, I haven't had a job in a really long time, but I put on my resume, I am the CFO of a highly mobile unit. And so when she went into interviews, they tell us more about that. And it was essentially her family, that she was a CFO of her family, but she owned it and she put it right on her resume. And she listed all of the things that she does, not only in terms of moving and relocating every 2 years, but the day-to-day operations of keeping a family up and afloat. So there are ways that you can get creative to navigate and write down those experiences into skills that are assets when you're going out into the and looking for employment.
I love that. I love that she was able to take credit for what she's doing, but not only that, that the fact that you have to be in the right room and with the right people surrounded by you, supporting you, to really take those stories or that sort of a life experience and shape it in that particular pathway or storytelling. Not every employer, of course, is going to welcome specifically like that title, but that's why you got to know and connect with the great Kendras and the Baileys and the Lauras and all these great people that we bring you here through the Blue Stars Careers community, who understand your lifestyle and welcome you into applying and exploring further. So don't just apply for the sake of applying, take it beyond the discussion, and then talk to people so that they understand better about your background and then how you can translate that into a very, very rewarding career long term, regardless of what the title may be. That so and then we're going to put Bailey on the spot now again, and so ask her, misconception of people that think about careers in finance. What does that look like, and what would you like individuals who might be scrolling this, watching the replay, what should they know today about careers in the finance sector that you make very rewarding yourself?
Yep. I think one of the, biggest misconceptions is that financial advisors are only for wealthy people, which just simply isn't true. Most people, don't join the military to become rich. They join to serve. And just because someone, who chooses service doesn't mean that they should struggle financially or lack a plan. Our role isn't just to serve people who have already, made it, but it's to help hardworking families build stability, protect what they've earned, and create options for the future. And again, financial advising isn't about managing millions. It's about helping real people make smart decisions with what they have today so that they can build something better for tomorrow. And at First Command, we specialize in serving military families who are disciplined, mission driven, and often navigating those complex transitions. And, they deserve guidance just as much as everyone else, if not more. And so, if that really speaks to you, if that's something that really resonates with you, then, please explore a career with First Command. Again, you don't have to come in with an MBA. You don't have to come in with, a long list of finance experience, because we can teach you how to do all those things that we're helping serve our clients. Majority of our advisors do come from the military or a military spouse, and who better to help military families than someone who is a military family, someone that's truly walked in their shoes and understand that lifestyle. Also, understanding the full benefits of military,
For
and
sure.
how to take our products and what we offer, and how to complement them with the military benefits as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. So Don't overlook. Just when in doubt, reach out to Bailey and explore further those opportunities, and then just have that discussion. And that's all I would like to encourage all of you who are watching, and maybe perhaps thinking about where do you find yourself next 6 months. Have those discussions first. Find out if this is an opportunity. Go to the website and then look further so that you can explore more. And then for Dr. Kendra, let me put you on the spot now. If somebody wants to, if a military spouse right now today, because I have Samantha over there, I have Melissa, which we're going to go and share a little shout out in a little bit. They want to square away their next step in the next month. What should they do first besides getting a hold of you first and start following you on LinkedIn? What else can we do to get our career square away?
Laura, you've mentioned this before, and I think it's really important is getting to know the company or organization that you want to be part of. First Command, as I mentioned, just struck me from on a personal note prior to even looking in terms of employment. The fact that they are there serving our military families, not just with financial advising, but I'll share just a little bit for our military spouse strategy. We're looking at recruiting military spouses, retaining military spouses, financial readiness for military spouses as clients. And then we're going out to other companies and organizations and sharing out best practices. We don't want to keep them to ourselves. We have an EMSA group, a military spouse advisor ambassador, that are specifically selected to help military spouses as they navigate a career during the PCS cycle, which is challenging for all of us. So get to know the culture and climate, spend some time with First Command, either myself or Bailey, or reach out to another individual to know really what we're about, what we're passionate about, and ensure that that's a good fit. I think that's a great step to stepping to your career path with a place that you might not have to then look at another job and you can stay long term. So definitely reach out, learn more about the company and organization. I think you'd be pleased to see what First Command is doing, not just internally, but externally at a national level.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And then Bailey, I've been the recipient of so many great relationships, great people that are either had started or explore, not with First Command, but the financial sector. Do you welcome individuals who have already trained or cross-trained somewhere else? How does that work directly with your organization?
Yeah, so we don't just look at inexperienced financial advisors. We also have an experienced advisor pathway as well. So there are more ways to come on than just one. We don't want to have a one size fits all. So we do look at experienced advisors as well for certain locations that may need that support. So lots of different pathways that you can come into.
Awesome. Thank you so much for clarifying that because I can think right now of a handful of great military spouses who are in the financial sector and right now they're doing something different. So maybe I will reach out to them and say, hey, have you thought about First Command? How about this other opportunity? So, and then I want to be able to highlight this really quick before I forget so that our members can see where First Command and they need to go. And so I'm going to share my screen. This is what the website looks like. So when you are looking and, there's so many nowadays, so many websites out there, so many places where it can take you to various searches. Just make sure that this is the right portal that you need to go. When you're here, again, just get to know your future employer. If you're going to be here for a few hours of your day, or you're going to invest even the hour, 2 hours that it might take for an application, which I don't think it will take you that long, but apply what the internship programs look like, what becoming an advisor looks like, what joining a home office looks like, and then explore different career opportunities so that in fact, what the company is doing, how they're investing in our community, and then make a decision in a little bit more educated way if this is in fact a place that you want to invest time. So before we go to our closing comments from our guests, let me take some time to send some shout outs to some people that are watching us over in our communities. And so I'd like to say Suryana, thank you so much for watching over on Facebook. To Melissa, thank you to Anna, and thank you also to our Blue Star families in New England. Thank you for sharing this webinar and resharing it, reposting it throughout for supporting. Let's go to LinkedIn and say hello to let's go to Stephanie. Thank you so much for supporting, as well as Samantha. And then we also have um, Grace and Era. Thank you so much for supporting. And then we also have out here Reggie King. Thank you so much for supporting as well and for sharing it with your community. Pay it forward. Even if this is perhaps not the right state for you, we all know we're all in this space and we know someone who's scrolling out there posting and saying, "Hey, I'm looking for a job." And it's like, what kind of job? I don't know. Well, check it out. Kendra and Bailey today shared how they are open to take a call with you and talk about further opportunities with First Command and then get your career squared away for sure. So, if you have any doubts, you can also meet First Command in the neighborhood. We have created an employer folder for them where you can just log in and then go straight to their portal and also be able to connect you directly. So you don't have to scroll or write anything down today. We are able to send you directly and make an introduction with Kendra or Bailey if that's something that you want to explore further up. So as you're scrolling through this, don't feel the pressure that you have to stop and do anything right now. So just watch and take the good content. That's all we got to do. Kendra, as we get closer to our segment, to close up our segment, tell us a little bit more about what would you like for us to remember about this discussion. Military spouses can do this or be our call to action. Anything that we can use to really explore further and get beyond the stigma of, oh, a career, I'm not sure what I want to do. How did it has worked out for you?
As I've continued to meet so many amazing military spouses in my journey, there's this thought that always comes up is that there is never a question of capability of our military spouses. We are highly capable. The question when we're talking about these underemployment and unemployment rates is the capacity and what we can carry as a military spouse. So I challenge you, you know that you're capable. Let us in First Command, with the programs that we offer to specifically help support military spouses in different areas of employment at First Command, we put those safeguards in place to specifically help military spouses, acknowledging the challenges and roadblocks they have. We know that you're highly capable. And if it's not First Command, I'm acknowledging today that you're very capable. It's just a capacity sometimes of what you feel that you can carry. I would argue that military spouses can carry a lot, and Bailey brought up a great word that I love, have a lot of grit and are relentless. So going forward, know that you have that, and at certain organizations or companies, they can help you kind of move from do I have the capacity to acknowledging that capability.
Yeah, absolutely. And I keep why would you not want to, if you have the curiosity and you have the flexibility to adapt your career and explore it further? This is almost like when we are throwing out there like dinner in a movie, right? This is a career and finance stability. Why wouldn't you not want to do that? I know that if I had the opportunity to maybe start all over again, why not? It's a great way to zigzag into a very rewarding and not only that, but stability. What about you, Miss Bailey? If there's any call to action, good food for thought for our members as we get ready to close, they would like to remember about this discussion, what will be your take?
I would just say don't be scared to, reach out and ask about the opportunity. I would say probably majority of the financial advisors that we have today didn't know that they wanted to be a financial advisor until they had that very first career discussion with one of our advisors. So if this company or anything that we've talked about today again resonates with anything or piques your interest at all, please reach out to a recruiter, have that conversation with them, and explore this career in a in a deeper setting. Also, don't forget about the internship opportunities. Career Accelerator program through the DoD is out, and we are a provider of that as well. So we do offer internships to military spouses that are paid. So don't hesitate to go reach out and look at those opportunities as well.
Wonderful. See, so many great opportunities, but all is going to start by having that discussion. So reach out to Kendra, look her up on LinkedIn, as well as Miss Bailey. And if you need, when in doubt, if you have any other questions, just meet us in the neighborhood. We'll make sure that you go towards the direction you need to go. You get pointed and introduced to the right individuals like them who have your back and then are looking for ways to advocate, but also explore further, opportunities to internally secure those career pathways for our military community that will definitely benefit long term, not just you, but your family. So thank you so much for watching and supporting. Please keep your comments coming. I know that we'll come back and respond to you or send you in the right direction. So thank you so much for supporting today, team. We'll be in touch further. Thank you.